You will never outperform your perception of your self-worth. You will never create more results in your life if you believe you have low self-worth stringing or hanging over you. It's been my biggest reason for my personal success has been believing that what I want is very, very, very possible. And that there's no reason why I can't have that thing too or become that type of person too. So I have a friend, and this friend is very wealthy, but great guy, amazing character, loves Jesus. We're not super, super close, but you know, we saw each other, which we just ran into each other at Costco like not too long ago. Like, oh, hey, and catch up for a little. We've seen each other more like in social settings, but this guy is a very big real estate dude. And has anyone ever seen or listened to the podcast Bigger Pockets? Sean, you know of it. It's a lot of real estate. A guy named Brandon Turner. Anyways, Brandon, my buddy of mine, he has this real estate investment group. He's got quite a few different things with his businesses, but I'm going to go somewhere. By the way, the end of the story, if you want me to give you the punchline, is to help you. Because Aaron, it was the catalyst in conversation was you saying, well, that's the hope about one day working from home. Because for those who don't know, Aaron, when he came on our retreat this year to Maui, made a decision to start his business doing like apparel and merch and graphic design. And so he's spent the last few months getting that up and running and has just recently launched it. And so when he said he was driving home from work, that's why I made the comment saying you'll be working from home, at some point soon enough, or maybe you'll have your own, brick and mortar store. So that's cool too on the table. But anyways, a buddy, Brandon, of mine, and that's where I want to go, is helping you kind of believe more, each and every one of you, in the process and the place, like the dream that God put in your heart. I don't know, it just sounds so corny or cheesy that way, but I'll get to the point here real quick. So I have another really good friend of mine named Matt who also works for Brandon. And he had a lot of, skepticism and wondering and apprehension towards not working with Brandon because Brandon's amazing, but getting into stuff with real estate because he's like, I don't know, I don't want to be around these guys who just feel like they know it all, who are kind of like these, almost the equivalent of like a hockey chotch. If you guys ever knew any hockey kids growing up in like high school, it felt like the equivalent to him. He's like, dudes just are arrogant, know it all, just like walk in with like designer shoes, suit, don't touch me, like too cool for school. And he's just like, whatever. And so they do events all around and you have to be very, very successful in real estate. You have to at minimum have, I don't know, like a net worth of a few million in order to actually be in the group. So I'll leave that at the base level. And so these dudes are very, very, very well off, all really amazing at real estate. And I picked the brain of my buddy one time. I said, Matt, like, what do these dudes all have in common? What's one thing that all these dudes, like share together that you would see as a pattern that created success for them? And he said a few things, and I just want to highlight a couple of them. Number one is he said that they were more normal than you and I. They were the most average group of dudes that you'd ever see coming in. Some are wearing flip-flops, some got a hoodie, others have dogs, others have families. It's just like you'd never would have assumed the stereotype of like that person has, like 350 rental properties under their belt. It's like you just would have never seen that coming. Or another dude has like a net worth of $40 million or $100 million. And being like, these guys, just like you and I, from all ages, spanning from probably like, let's just say like 30 to maybe 60 and everywhere in between. But I said, what's one thing that they all have in common that allowed them to do what they do? And he says, the how doesn't matter. He said, the how does not matter. He said, if you get fixated on all the tactics and all the strategies and all the things, he's like, and this is what they told him, because he asked them, he picked their brain. And he's like, the what you want is good, but how you get there is irrelevant. And he said the number one thing, which is crazy, the number one thing that all these guys focused on, ironically, was visualization. They all rehearsed the visual of them having the success that they wanted. They all envisioned being able to attain the thing that they wanted to pursue. They all envisioned and saw that it was possible, and really, 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 it sounds so simple, but like childlike faith, as Jesus would say in the scriptures, they all just had this deep inner knowing, not just a belief, but an inner knowing that everything they wanted was possible for them. And he said, and that's the difference in their opinion between why people move whatever looks like ahead. Ahead could just be getting a full-time job for you. Ahead could just be getting married. Ahead could be, getting a promotion and having a certain set of income. It doesn't matter. So whatever your ahead is, it's probably scary for you. It's probably scary for me. It's probably feeling like a pipe dream. Probably feels like a lot of hopes, hums, and ahs and wishes, but deep down, there may be a belief that says that you don't actually believe that it's possible. And all these guys were obsessed with, and a lot of them, I'd say 90 to 95% of them were Christian men in this group, but all they obsessed with over and over was just entertaining the idea that what they wanted was viable and possible and worthy of pursuing, and that they believed it was super, super, super possible for them to have. So here's my point. You will never outperform your perception of your self-worth. You will never create more results in your life if you believe you have low self-worth stringing or hanging over you. All those guys believed that they had worthy needs, wants, and desires to be met. Your self-worth is your ceiling. And they believed in a God who is a king, and they, as his children, believed that they were attached to royalty. And I love that. So I wonder, and you don't have to answer, Aaron, but you brought it up. I wonder if there's a part within you, a childlike part within you, but not in like the healthy sense, but like a wounded or hurt or like uneducated or unsophisticated, like a lacking maturity part within you potentially. And you could be like, oh, dude, no, I'm full tilt. Like I 1,000,000% know it's going to happen. I'm putting in the work. I'm going for it. I know, and I'm broken up with the timelines, but I know this is for me. I wonder, guys, if there's a part within you for whatever goal that you want to pursue, if you actually don't believe it's possible. I've just heard it so many times over and over. It's like, well, you can't do that, or you can't have that. Or like musicians, you guys ever subscribed if you're a musician or an artist or something like that? Just the broke musician, the broke artist, the broke actor. That's just a story. It's just a mentality. It's just a way of viewing life. But I mean, if we focus on our problems, they magnify, right? If we focus on the impossibility before us, our situation is going to remain impossible. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Long Game that came out in like the past year or two? It's a golfing movie, but the title of the movie's kind of got a few hidden meanings. Is these group of Hispanic boys in Texas in 1953 that started a golf club or golf team at their high school and went on to win the state championship when no one believed in them. They weren't even allowed to practice on like real putting greens or on at country clubs because they were Mexican. And I think it's a brilliant movie. It's a true story, actually, by the way. But no one else believed in them, but they did within themselves. And I think that without like getting woo woo or just like rah rah like motivationally like with you, just kind of chatting, I would say that that's probably been my biggest block personally, and also my biggest, I don't say reason for success. Everyone's got a different definition, but my own definition of success. It's been my biggest reason for my personal success has been believing that what I want is very, very, very possible, and that there's no reason why I can't, have that thing too, or become that type of person too.